Hi friends, it's Terri Gaines. In this video, I'm going to share a fun fold card. The stamp set I'm going to use to decorate the card is the Happiness Abounds Stamp Set. I'm going to be using these two floral images and these two greenery, so I've already stamped those. I cut them out with the coordinating dies, and then I've colored them in with the blends. I use the Flirty Flamingo Light and Dark for the flowers and the Granny Apple Green for the greenery. And how I like to color these in is I like to take the light color the entire floral image, and I actually just do a section at a time. Then I take the dark brush tip and I put some detail towards the different lines in the images, and then I bring the light one back in and pull that color. But there is no wrong way to color in images with the blends, and they are so fun to work with. So I've done those images ahead of time. Those are part of the decorative images for the card. So let's get started with details on the card itself. The card base is 10 3/4 by 5 1/2. I have the measurements right here on the video. They will also be in the text portion of this video and then on my blog. If you found me via YouTube, there'll be a direct link to the blog post in the text portion of the video. So there needs to be 4 score lines. The first one is going to be at 1 5/8. The second one at 3 1/4. The third one at 7 1/2. And the last one at 9 1/8. So I'm using the Simply Scoring tool to score that. And then I'm done with this. So I'm just going to move that out of the way, and we will talk about the rest of the materials we need for the card. So there are 6 different layers that you need. So I'm identifying one of them as panel 1, layer 1, and then that is 3 inches by 5. Then panel 1, layer 2 is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. Now this can be designer series paper. You can stamp your cardstock, you can texturize it. What I did was I took one of the dies from the die set. There's this beautiful die that will create this image. You also have dies that will give you a decorative edges to your cardstock or your paper. So what I did was I cut this out on my die cutting machine, and then I ran it through the Painted 3D Texture folder after I cut it out, and what I got was this image. So to save some time, I've already put these 2 layers together, but that's going to show you how that die cut cuts out that beautiful image. And then, so that's panel 1, layer 1 and 2. Then we have panel 2, which is 2 1/2 by 4 1/2, and that's layer 1. Panel 2, layer 2 is 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. Now this can be designer series paper. This is where the decorative images are going to be on, so you don't want it. I personally wouldn't have a real busy designer series paper, something subtle. I did want some texture, so I added texture with the Painted 3D, the Painted Texture folder, the same one I used on this one. So I've adhered those 2 layers together already. And then our third set of layers, I'm calling the inside layer 1 is 3 by 4 1/4. Inside layer number 2 is 2 3/4 by 4. Now this is for the inside of the card. This is where you stamp your sentiment, and then you'd also sign the card. So I've stamped one of the sentiments, and then I added a flower and colored that in. So this is for inside layer 1 and 2. So the last thing I have to share is I have a banner that I stamped an outside sentiment, and I used the stylish shape dies, and I used the small banner. And for this particular card, because it's going to hang over an edge and the back might be visible, what I did was I cut a second banner. These are going to be adhered together for stability. So if you do the same thing I'm doing, you might want 2 banners. So I think we have everything ready to assemble. To assemble, we want to have some dimensionals on hand, a bone folder, take your pick tool, and a double-sided adhesive, and I'm going to use the Stamp and Seal. So let's start by folding this card. That first score line is going to be a mountain fold. The next one will be a valley fold. Then you can have a valley fold and another mountain fold. So it's going to be folded like this. What you'd want to do is bring in a bone folder to burnish these score lines, so they will want to stay in that mountain, valley, mountain form. So it's going to be like this. The first thing we want to do is adhere the inside layers to the inside panel. So use your double-sided adhesive, and if you are duplicating this card, I tend to always reference as I'm teaching a class, which I do, but this video is sharing you how to make this card. And do note my videos are unedited and do contain, most likely will contain bloopers, misspoken words, etc. So the first thing that you want to do, I'm going to do, is put that inside sentiment on the inside panel. Now the next thing I'm going to do is adhere panel 1, layer 1 and 2 to the left front panel of this card. We want to make sure we don't have any exposed adhesive. My trick to do that is to hold this down and use the top of this colored cardstock and the bottom of the colored cardstock as my guide to where to put adhesive. So that's where I'm going to start and stop, because the top portion and the bottom portion of this panel are going to be exposed. Then what I want to do is look at this panel, and on the back of the left side, I'm going to put adhesive and just put one strip down. Now with this adhesive and that adhesive, it will be enough to secure this panel in place. So hold the panel all the way down. Then I'm going to hold it up so my adhesive does not touch, so I can visually see that I have equal spacing on the top, side, and bottom, and then put that in place. And that's going to have no exposed adhesive by adhering it that way. So now what we want to do is we want to put this panel on this side, but what we also want to do is we want to put it on with dimensionals, because this panel on the left is going to tuck behind the panel on the right. So my trick for doing that is to lay the card flat, hold it flat, take this top panel, put it right on top, take the panel for the right side and put it on top of the one on the left side, line them up, have your equal spacing on the top and bottom. While you're holding that flat, take a dimensional and put it below this panel and then off to the side here. And then you want to put one above the panel off to the right. Put another one right in the middle of those two, another one between the middle one and the top one, and another one right there. By doing that, we're going to lift this panel up so this one will tuck behind it, and these will secure this panel in place. So now I'm going to remove the backings, and the take your pick tool works great to get those off. I'm going to just hold all of this down. I'm going to look for equal spacing on the top and the bottom, and then the spacing you have on this side is a personal decision. I would leave some space there, but the goal is to cover up those dimensionals, so when you open your card and close your card, that panel tucks behind there. So that's the construction part of the fun fold. And this will be a beautiful card when it sits on the desk. You can view both panels, or you can have it open to see that inside one too. So we are going to decorate it with these images. I mentioned the double banner. So what I'm going to do is adhere those two together. So just use your regular adhesive and then line those two up and get those two to adhere. I'm going to put the banner on first. I mentioned it's doubled up for stability and to cover the back up, because it's going to hang over this panel and then be exposed here. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to hold this flat. We don't want to put it so far over that it won't fit in the envelope. So we want to make sure it's over to where you want it to be if you're duplicating the card. So what I like to do is to turn it over. I'll put one dimensional on that top panel, one dimensional on the banner. So that dimensional is on this panel. And then when you take the backings off, you can adhere the banner by holding it flat. Decide where you want it, how far you want it to go over the edge. I'm going to have it go over so I can see a little bit of that flirty flamingo color right there. So that's how I want to attach the banner. Now for the flowers, what I like to do is put these on with dimensionals. So I kind of curve the petals downward to create a cavity back there for the dimensionals. Then I also like to take and just turn the tips of them up a little bit forward to create some dimension. I'm going to start out by putting the larger flower on first. So I'm putting 2 dimensionals right in the middle. I want to make sure the dimensionals stay on this panel and don't hang over, don't get exposed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to know that my dimensionals are in the middle. I can hang over that a little bit there. So I'm going to place that and just confirm that you have no exposed adhesive. Then what I'm going to do is put this flower on next. One of the reasons by putting the dimensionals right in the center, that leaves some room to tuck the greenery in after you get the flowers on the project. I'm going to put a couple on here too, or also. I'm going to tuck this one and kind of go to the right a little bit. Now I'm going to just take a couple of these. I have extra. I'm going to put a dimensional behind the greenery, and I'll put this one right here, and then I'll put another one right here. But decorating a card is really a personal decision how much you want to put on the project. So I'm going to go like that. I'm going to add a little bit of embellishments. I moved the opal rounds, which would have been a really good choice for the center, kind of a subtle. I do have these on my desk here. These are the glossy dots, and these come in 4 different colors. Each color is 3 different sizes. That works out really nice for that. And then I'm going to take these brass butterflies. These are so pretty. And I'm going to add some to the front of the card. So I'm going to take and just going to have a couple on the front of the card. And you can embellish your card with any different embellishments. And I think I'll just put 3 on there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tuck the 3rd one on this panel. All right, so we're just going to have that little guy. We'll put him right here. And you can add more. So now we have the finished card. So this, as I mentioned, this panel on the left tucks behind the one on the right. It will stand on your desk looking like that, or you can open it up to see the inside. I have some more cards to share with you with the same fun fold using the same product. I actually created this one using Daffodil Delight for my cardstock color and my blend color. So you can just change up the colors and make some beautiful cards. And I absolutely love this stamp set. Here's another one I did using the same stamp set. These blends are the neutral blends, and I use 700, 800, and 900 for my color choices. And I just stayed with the same blend per color or per flower. So this was, I believe, 800 for these 2 and 700 and 900 for those. And then I used the brick and mortar folder and then the time worn type folder and created this card. So it's the same product, just different colors and different embossing folders. Here's a card using the designer series paper that coordinates with that product. And I haven't stamped the inside yet, but this is using the go-to greetings for the sentiment. And then I have one more. I designed this fun fold for my March 2023 fun fold project for customers. If your customer places a $30 order, use my host code online, you receive a fun fold packet. It was all the materials to make this card. And this is with the Hello Irresistible 6x6 Designer Series paper, which is part of the online exclusive product. And then also I'm sharing my April 2023 fun fold card. Qualifying orders will receive a packet to put this fun fold card together. And I'm calling it the Lattice Easel fun fold card. It's going to stand on the desk like this, and I give you the packet with all the materials cut and ready to assemble. You use your own stamps, ink, adhesive, and you will have a video that gives you all the step-by-step to assemble this project. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and would like to place an order, I would love to have you contact me. There is information in the text portion of this video for direct links to my online store. And I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this project. Take care and happy creating.